In this video, I want us to take a further look at the reflections that David, the psalmist and king, writes regarding his life experiences and the presence of the Lord in all of those. David experienced dark times. He thought at times there's the shadow of death that faced him more than once. His soul was damaged and needed to be restored. So there's soul damage, there's darkness, dark times, there's scary times, there's times where he's in the presence of his enemies. So he reflects on these and on the basis of the fact that the Lord is his shepherd and he shall therefore not want. So the Lord is my shepherd. Because the Lord is my shepherd, David says, I have everything that I need. Now, how can that legitimately be true? It doesn't mean that we're never going to have any trouble. David certainly did have trouble, and we do too. But I think the point he's making here is that in the various aspects in my walk, my life, where some of them are repeated, there's more than once where I'll go through a dark time. There's more than once where my soul will be damaged. There's more than once that I will have enemies present with me when I'd rather them not be present with me. And yet the Lord is in all of that. And so I think what he's saying here is because the Lord is my shepherd, I'll have everything I need regardless of the distinctive things that are going on at that time. So he begins by saying that the Lord restores his soul. He takes him to a place where he restores his soul. So he's faces limitations, his vulnerability. It's damaged him, things he's experienced through the unrighteous acts and words of others and his own unrighteousness. And so his soul was damaged by that. We can't pretend that's not true. Sin certainly has consequences in every regard, and it does absolutely damage our souls. We are all susceptible to that. So then the Lord puts him back on paths of righteousness and for his name's sake. So these are the right paths and they're righteous paths, the paths of his choosing, and it's for his name's sake. They're in keeping with the goodness of his name, of himself. Then he says that he's paths of righteousness. He's on them and he's feeling good about that. And now he's suddenly in the valley of the shadow of death. And so he must belong there or the Lord wouldn't have let him there, right? So the same is true for us. We find ourselves, as many in the world do today, find themselves in the valley of the shadow of death. But the Lord is with them and they can fear no evil. There is the presence of the Lord that is with them through all of this. And David certainly knew what that was about in his life. And I think that we do too. So his soul's restored at different points. He's on paths of righteousness at times, and then he's in the valley of the shadow of death. Sometimes that's where those paths lead him. And then he is in the presence of his enemies. And in there, David changes the metaphor from the shepherd to the host. In each case, there's the role of the shepherd, the role of the host is to take care of his guests, his sheep, to take care of his people. And you know, David makes this very personal. He doesn't say that the Lord in general takes care of his sheep. He said the Lord is my shepherd. And I think that all of us can do that. We can say that. And we know from a parable that Jesus himself gave to us, he said that when the one sheep was lost, the good shepherd left the 99 and went out and found the one. And sometimes I think we can feel like we're the one. And if we do feel like we're the one and everybody else is doing okay, please know that Jesus is on a hunt for you. He will find you because we are, as individual sheep, we matter to the Lord. We're important. We have great value to him. So David experienced that, and so do we. And there's times where we need to hear that, and times where we need to experience that attention and compassion and search that he gives to us as an individual sheep. Then he says that goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life. So there's times where he's really aware of that there's goodness and there's mercy. The mercy, I think, is when things have gone wrong, when I've done wrong things have happened. And then the goodness is just in general of the goodness of God. And so we experience his goodness generally, and then his mercy on specific occasions. Back for a minute to the table that the Lord prepares for us. There are some that see in this a reference to the Lord's Supper, the Last Supper, or we might want to call it the First Supper. It was the Last Supper with his disciples, but it was the First Supper of the New Covenant, of the coming of the kingdom. In any event, some see the reference there that he prepares a table before me in the presence of my enemies. That's what God the Father had done for Jesus. There was this table prepared on this Passover meal with his disciples. Interesting. Not, I don't know if it's totally true or not, but it seems good to me that that would be a reference. I see no reason why we couldn't accept that as an allusion, at the least, that David makes, especially in fact, in light of the fact that David is so often related to Christ in various ways. Then there's this dwelling in the house of the Lord forever. So there's times in his life where he's more aware than others that he's in the presence of the Lord, that he's in a place of praise and a place of thanksgiving, a place of worship. He's with the Lord. There's times where there is that reflection and that time with the Lord, that sanctuary with God. So these are the various aspects of David's life, and we experience those same things. And he's our shepherd. He's a good shepherd, takes care of the sheep. He's a good host, protects them, and anoints their head with oil. So there's a anointing, there's a favor and honor there. Cup runs over with joy. So it's an abundant feast. It's not just a little skimpy meal. So this is who he is. This is who the Lord is to each and every one of us, all the days, every single day of our lives, every single person, every single day. The Lord takes care of us as the shepherd, as the generous host. God bless you in this knowledge. Let's think about this. Let's ponder this, meditate on this, and give thanks to the Lord, regardless of what circumstance we or others are going through, that we have everything we need because the Lord is with us in a way that only he can be with us in each and every aspect of our lives.